What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Goose Games. It is your boy the Goose, and the goose is loose, baby! And we are here today to talk about my favorite pay-per-view of the year for WWE, and what I assume is most of your favorite pay-per-view, the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble match comes with all kinds of history, numbers. It's a spectacle of an event, quite frankly. It's one of WWE's greatest original ideas. Out of the big four pay-per-views, to me, it's the best. I put it ahead of WrestleMania by a hair. There have been more stinkers at Mania, and meanwhile, the Rumble, it's hard to have a bad Rumble. Even if it's a bad Rumble, it's a good Rumble because it's a Rumble. Unless you're 2016 in Philly. But so what my plan is today, I am going to give you my bottom three men and women to win the Rumble. Those are the three men and women I want to win the Rumble least. I'll get that out of the way first because I don't like being overly negative. And then I am going to do my top 5 men to win the Rumble and my top 5 women to win the Rumble. Yeah, so I'll get the 3 that I don't like out of the way first, and I kept it to 3 because, like I said, negativity just isn't fun. So I'll go quickly through those, but first, some wild cards. These are people I wouldn't predict to win the Rumble, but, I mean, if they return, who knows? Andrade. There were rumors that Andrade could be seeing an on-screen relationship with Charlotte. Imagine if Charlotte wins the Rumble early in the night and then Andrade wins the Rumble in the main event and we never even knew he was going to be in there, and then on Monday it's Charlotte and Andrade. I love Andrade. I think if you give him a mouthpiece, Charlotte, he could be really good. Dominic Mysterio, it's too soon, but if you want to make him a star right now, have him win the Rumble. He doesn't have to win the Rumble, but have him go against Roman. So it's Dom and Ray trying to overcome that family. So it's family versus family, maybe. Have him go learn a lesson by getting beat by Drew. He's very young, I know this. They've sent him back to the Performance Center to train. But I'm sorry, he was over. If you didn't have him lose every fucking time I saw him for the first 3 months he was on TV, he might be even getting more talk ahead of this Rumble. But because of the way WWE has booked him, I think most people just have him out of sight, out of mind. And for the men's Rumble, I'll put Charlotte down as a wild card in the men's Rumble. Women appear in the men's Royal Rumble. It's a thing of history. It's happened a lot. That means they can win. Who do you think Vince McMahon would have win the men's Royal Rumble if a woman was to do it? Charlotte. Hey, I'll double down. If Charlotte ever enters the men's Royal Rumble, I was saying the other day, I was watching a live stream on Cultaholic, another wrestling channel I follow, and in the stream I was saying, Charlotte has better odds to win both Royal Rumble matches than most superstars or females have to win their own respective Rumble match. Like, I would bet on Charlotte winning both before I bet on, I don't know, Alexa winning just the women's. Like, it's broken like that. But first, my bottom 3 women. Now, let's go my bottom 3 men first. And I think you're going to sense a theme here. My thoughts of the Royal Rumble is the Royal Rumble is to establish new stars going into WrestleMania season. So my negative list and my positive list is going to reflect that. Make new stars. Don't waste this on an old star that doesn't need it. So my first, and I'll go from the first name is like last, and the last name I say is the one I want least, if that makes sense. So we're going from 3 to 2 to 1. Number 3, the man I want to win the Royal Rumble, third least of anybody, is Edge. Now, I love Edge. His return was incredible last year. I guess it would be a full circle moment just to have him come back and win. So he comes back last year as the man eliminated. Then he comes back this year and wins it. Could be cool, but He's old as hell, man. Like, the only reason Edge wins the Rumble, I would assume, is to finish off the trilogy with Randy at Mania. I don't think Randy's getting the title back before Mania. When he won the title at Hell in a Cell, it was either you hold it to Mania or you're not champion at Mania. I don't think Drew loses the title again before Mania now. So I don't know if they would do Edge versus Randy if it's not for the title. And because it doesn't look like it would be for the title, I could see them pivoting to Drew versus Edge. I could also see that after the events of Legends Night. Oh my god, if you follow me on Twitter, I was so angry. Fuck Bill Goldberg. I'm sorry. Excuse my language. Fuck Bill Goldberg. But his name will be coming up in a minute. I could see them throwing Edge at Drew, and I almost don't hate that. He's the first name I'm mentioning, because I'm not totally against Edge going and winning. But God, is it just not necessary? He's going to get the biggest pop no matter what building he's in. His career, he's a Hall of Famer. He's won it already. He doesn't need it. It does nothing to Edge's legacy to win the Royal Rumble, so please don't do it. Number 2, Bill Goldberg. Now, I know what you're saying, but Ryan, Goldberg is already in the men's title match with Drew. Why would he be in the Rumble? Because I am going to keep saying until the Rumble, and I'm going to speak this into existence. Vince McMahon is not stupid enough to put the title on Goldberg again. If he puts the title on Goldberg at the Royal Rumble, I will cancel my subscription network, my network subscription, and I will not pay for another pay-per-view WWE does. I'll say this year. I'll look at the results. I might stream it online, but I will not pay for a service that is providing that level of garbage. So let's say that my rational thinking prevails and Drew crushes Goldberg. Should be about 3 minutes. Claymore him for 3 consecutive minutes until Goldberg's jaw is dust. And hopefully just Claymore him into irrelevance. Because the thing that's annoying is Legends Night did a huge rating, so I'm genuinely afraid Vince is going to pop the title onto Goldberg. But it's not going to happen, okay? I am speaking it into existence. Goldberg will not win the title. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Bray Wyatt's one of my favorite characters ever, one of my favorite wrestlers ever. And when he just dropped the title to Goldberg leading into Mania, Kevin Owens, another one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Another wrestler who dropped the title to Goldberg right before Mania. Fucking stop it. These guys, Drew, Bray when you did it, Kevin Owens when you did it. These guys bust their ass on every other pay-per-view so that they can be on the WrestleMania card. And for you to have them hold the title just to keep it warm for a legend like Goldberg is horseshit. Do not do this. Do not put the title on Goldberg again. Learn your fucking lesson. Goldberg is trash. When him and The Undertaker wrestled in Saudi Arabia and he pulled Undertaker up for the jackhammer, Undertaker, by the way, 30 years of Taker, he almost killed The Undertaker when he did his jackhammer. He was an inch away from breaking The Undertaker's neck in the fucking ring. And you're going to put the title on him again. If I'm a wrestler, I am not agreeing to take a jackhammer at this point. You almost killed a legend. No, you're not putting me up in the air if I don't know you can put me down cleanly, and Goldberg clearly can't. Fuck Bill Goldberg, get him off my fucking screen. Whew, rant over. Let me tell you how I really feel. Fuck Goldberg. Wait, was I even talking about Goldberg? Yeah, what I was gonna say. Whew. So Drew is gonna beat Goldberg at the Rumble. I could easily see Goldberg entering 30 because it was weird when Roman came out, or you'll know why I keep saying Roman. It was weird when Goldberg came out to confront Drew because I assumed it would be Roman he was confronting because that's the story. They were going to wrestle at Mania last year. Let's do it this year now. So to see him come out and challenge Drew was surprising. But that means there's two options that all roads could still lead to Goldberg and Roman. And that would be Goldberg either wins the title and they unify it. I'm game for that. No. Don't put the fucking title on Goldberg. But if it means he's going to put Roman over at Mania, fine, I guess. And if it means the titles are unified, fine, I guess. But I'd rather have Drew and Roman do it. They had a match of the year candidate at Survivor Series. If you want to unify the titles, Roman and Drew need to close the main event of WrestleMania out in a 45-minute classic. So that's not a legit reason. But I could definitely see him coming in at 30, winning, and then challenging Roman at Mania. So he would get 2 title matches within 3 months of each other, and I would vomit everywhere. Okay, so the number one person I don't want to win the Royal Rumble. It's weird. My list, I had Goldberg number one, but I just talked about Goldberg. So my new number one, although it's really number two, I think you could tell from the rage I just showed, Goldberg is the person I want to win the Rumble least of anybody. But the follow-up to that would be Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar has not been in WWE since he dropped the belt to Drew at Mania. I don't think we've seen him since then. And I really think between the Legends night popping a rating, with Paul Heyman doing good work on SmackDown, I could see Brock coming back either A, without Paul and just, I'm not talking, I'm just going to destroy people. Or I could see him coming back with Paul, and you have Paul on Friday night and Monday night, and he acknowledges 2 different associates. Like, I don't think that'll happen, but it could. Or, yeah, I guess those are the 2 options. Or you do Brock wins the Rumble, and it's Brock versus Roman with Paul in the middle. My thing is, another thing I like to keep in mind when thinking of the Royal Rumble, if somebody doesn't need a Royal Rumble match to get a title shot, don't waste it. Edge can get a title shot anytime he wants. Clearly, fucking Goldberg can get a title shot anytime he wants. Brock can get a title shot anytime he wants. Just have them come out and say they want a title shot because they're the top of the fucking card. Don't waste a Royal Rumble victory on them. So this video is already 12 minutes. I am going to fly through my 3 women, and then I'll get into my top 5 people I like. So the 3 women I want to see win the Rumble least of anybody, I'm going to say them all at once because I went way too long on that Goldberg rant. I'm sorry. Charlotte, Ronda, Natalya. Charlotte, I don't want to see Charlotte win another match as long as I fucking live. Before she got hurt, she was on every show, fucking squashing every female wrestler she could get her hands on. She's back now. I can't wait for her to turn on Asuka, because it's going to happen. And then I wouldn't be shocked if it's Asuka Charlotte 2 at Mania again. And Asuka better get her fucking win back. But that's still, no, I don't want that. Charlotte does not fucking need this at all. I'd rather Charlotte win the men's Rumble than the women's Rumble. Give it to a new star. If any division needs new stars, it's the women's division. Shit, I am so sick of the 4 horsewomen manipulating every female storyline. Alright, then number 2, Ronda Rousey. Ronda was incredible. She picked it up faster than anybody. I'm sorry, though. I don't care to see her again. The thing with Brock, the reason Brock works, he's so far removed from MMA, I guess. Maybe it's not as fresh in my mind, but I can't look at Ronda and not think that she would just kill every woman she's in the fucking ring with. I don't know. And Ronda, the way she was with the fans on her way out was really fucked up, I thought. Like, maybe she was playing a heel, but it felt pretty sincere, the way she was shitting on the wrestling business. And Natalya, I just hate Natalya. I could see them giving it to her as like a legacy thing, but fuck Natalya. She's been bad since she debuted. She can work fine, but God, is she the worst character in like women's division history. Okay, my top 5 women to win the Royal Rumble now. All that negativity is out of the way. Let's jump into it. Number 5, Bayley. Bayley has had one of the best years any woman has had in a long time. As a heel, maybe it doesn't get recognized as much as Becky's run as the man, but I think Bayley's run as the golden role model and the role model has been as good as Becky as the man on the heel side of things. I think if Bayley were to win, sign me up today for Bayley versus Sasha in a 1 hour Iron Woman's match. They did it in NXT for 30, right? They didn't go 60 in NXT, did they? I feel like they went 30 in NXT. Let them go 60. If Mania's 2 nights again, you've got the time. I'd rather watch them take up an hour than Elias and Baron Corbin on Mania. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. So yeah, Bayley, my number 5 to win the Rumble. She's never done it before. I think it would be incredible, and it would be well earned with the way she's worked this year. Number 4. 1 second, let me get a drink of water. Number 4. Another 4 horsewoman. The returning Becky Lynch. Now, I do not know if between the time she has popped out that baby and the Royal Rumble is enough time for paternity leave, is enough time for her body to get right again. But I know Vince McMahon is already on the phone. I mean, come on, if you've seen the CM Punk documentary, The Best in the World, you would know, or not the documentary, when he did the Colt Cabana podcast, Vince calls you right as soon as you're out of surgery, and it's like, when can you get back in the ring? So I assume he's doing that with Becky right now. And the best way to tempt her back, I think, would be a Royal Rumble victory. So I could definitely see Becky coming back. I think with there not being people at Mania, or not being people at the Rumble this year, most likely, I don't think they'd want to waste Ronda, but bringing back Becky as a returning star, I think Ronda they won't use without people. And I say that because of the amount of money she makes. It's the same thing with Brock and The Rock. The reason they're not calling any of the megastars right now. Goldberg's not a megastar. Because they don't want to waste money with no crowds. Becky coming back, she's an on-roster superstar who's just been on maternity leave. I could definitely see her coming back and winning, and either going up against Sasha, maybe Asuka, maybe Charlotte's champ by then. Maybe we finally get the fatal. If the main event of WrestleMania this year is going to be female, it needs to be a fatal 4-way between the 4 horsewomen. Do it. Unify both SmackDown and Raw titles in a fatal 4-way of the 4 horsewomen in the main event of WrestleMania. Boom! Okay, number 3. My third, the person I want to win third of most would be Naomi. Naomi is the most underutilized, wasted superstar of the last decade. Up there with, like, Cesaro. Like, she is as physically talented as anybody. I think maybe the only person you could say is more athletically gifted than Naomi might be Charlotte. But if you were to make an argument that Naomi is more athletic than Charlotte, I think you could win that argument. Naomi's incredible. I think no matter what title scene you put her in, she'll get over. If you want to do her as a babyface, I think she could turn heel. Is she still married to Jimmy Uso? If they're still married, hell, maybe turn her heel and get her involved in the family storyline. If they're not married, I'm sorry if that's distasteful. I have no reason to think they're not still married. So, yeah, I think Naomi gives you a ton of options. When she returned at the Rumble all those years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, it was massive. Or no, was it the female? Was it the female Battle Royal at Mania? She returned to a huge pop. I don't know, but Naomi's a superstar, and I think WWE's biased towards the horsewomen. And if you don't know what that phrase means, the horsewomen, Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, and Sasha are known as the 4 horsewomen of NXT. And to me, it's like they're the female version of the Shield, except they're all still in one company. But yeah, Naomi's almost been overlooked because of those other ladies, and I think it's, at any moment, Naomi is worthy of a title reign, so give it to her. My number 2 that I want to win the Royal Rumble, she should have won it last year. She should not have lost her title at WrestleMania last year. And frankly, the way she's been handled in the last year to year and a half may have ruined the fucking character and all of the momentum, but Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is an absolute tank. She's an absolute badass. Oh my god, physically, she's like China in the 90s, just yoked, fucking ripped, just throwing bitches. Like, Rhea is a fucking tank. I love Rhea Ripley. I think she's an incredible character. I think she could be the woman you build your company around, the woman you build Raw around. And the person that I'm about to have at number one is the person I would build SmackDown around. But Rhea is a female star I could see main eventing WrestleMania in the future. I think she's that talented. I think she'll be that over when fans are back. And I think there's no reason to wait. And you know what would be cool? If there is a reason to take the belt off of Asuka, it would be to give it to Charlotte so Charlotte can do the fucking job and put Rhea over like she should have last year. Make up for it. God, the amount of bad booking decisions this company makes based around the Royal Rumble. And the number one woman I want to win the Royal Rumble, it should come as a surprise to nobody. I think she is a future she has the potential of a future WrestleMania main eventer. I think her and her husband could be the future Stephanie and Triple H. Like their athleticism, their charisma. It's Bianca Belair, and her husband is Montez Ford. If you did not know, Bianca Belair is the total package. I think if I was making a ranking of my top wrestling prospects right now in the world, I don't know much about Japan, but between America, it's Rhea, number one. Bianca, I'm sorry. Bianca is the number one prospect in all of wrestling, in my opinion. She has the highest upside of anybody. And I think that's insane because there are some good prospects out there between MJF, Rhea. There's some people on the next list I'm going to do. Bianca is head and shoulders above the rest. Bianca, Sasha, Mania. It writes itself. I don't think it happens because they're both baby faces, and I think WWE wants to keep both as baby faces. But fine, send her to Raw then. And it doesn't matter. You have a star waiting to be made. Make the star. Make Bianca a star and have her win the Rumble and win a title at Mania. Do it. She's ready. She's incredible. Bianca Belair, my number one woman to win the Royal Rumble. And now, my top 5 men to win the Royal Rumble. Coming in at number 5, this would be a debut from the NXT roster. Mr. Adam Cole, baby! Adam Cole debuting and winning the Royal Rumble would be an incredible decision. I think Drew and Raw in particular needs a shake-up. I don't know if you'd bring up the whole era, but I'd at least bring somebody with Adam. Maybe Kyle. Maybe Roddy. I'd keep him heel. I'd probably bring him up with Roddy with the option to bring up Kyle and Bobby later to join the faction on Raw. But yeah, I think Adam Cole is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's proven that over the last few years with his reign on the top of NXT. Undisputed Era is up there with the Shield and DX for my favorite factions ever. When they added Roddy, it was so perfectly executed. It was beautiful. It was an angle I'll definitely remember when he turned on Pete. The theme song, the Undisputed Era theme song, is one of the best theme songs in wrestling, in my opinion. There's nothing Adam Cole can't do. If you know the guy Adam Cole himself, if you watch him on Twitch or YouTube at all, well, nobody watches him on Twitch anymore. He seems like an incredible guy, and I really like him. And I am so afraid he's going to leave to AEW. Because I don't know what his contract status is. Hopefully he's re-signed. But one way to incentivize a guy staying and not going to where his wife wrestles and all of his best friends wrestle, have him win the Rumble. Send him right at Drew in the main event of Mania. Drew McIntyre, Adam Cole, with he'd probably be going into the match with just Bobby, with just Roddy, and then during the WrestleMania match, I would have Kyle and Bobby Fish show up, cost Drew the title, WrestleMania ends, Adam Cole is your WWE champion. Baby. Number 4. I don't think this guy's going to be on anybody else's list, but Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is WWE's most improved superstar over the last year, in my opinion. This is the character Bobby Lashley always should have been since they booked him as ECW champion back in the day. Put him in a good suit, give him a good mouthpiece. Bobby Lashley is handsome. He's sculpted from fucking granite. He's just. He doesn't have to talk. That should be below him. And MVP as his mouthpiece, man. Whew. I would do it where either he wins the Rumble as U.S. champion, he drops the Rumble early. He could drop the U.S. title earlier in the night to Riddle. And I know what you're thinking, but then Riddle will have a claim that he beat the Royal Rumble winner. It can't be clean then. Have Riddle roll him up. Have it be nefarious. Riddle's a babyface, but he's also an opportunistic stoner, so I think you can do whatever you want there, frankly. Get the belt off of him, do it with the belt, and make him double champion. I don't care. Have him vacate the title, Keith Lee style. I don't care. The U.S. title should not hamper what you do with Bobby Lashley. I think Ricochet will probably replace Cedric in the Hurt Business. I wouldn't mind seeing Ricochet, or no, maybe, yeah, Ricochet. I was going to say maybe Bobby, like, sacrifices the title to a lower member of the Hurt Business, and then he goes on with the title, so they keep all the titles. Maybe he gives it to MVP. Maybe he finger poke of dooms it to MVP. Maybe. Bottom line, the Hurt Business is incredible. I don't like the stuff they're doing with Cedric. Better only be to get Cedric out of the group. It better not be to break up the Hurt Business. But Bobby Lashley is my fourth best option to win the Royal Rumble. Oh, and he would also be going on to face Drew McIntyre. Number 3, my third favorite to win the Royal Rumble. He's a lot of people's number 1, and I'll say it now. I just think the timing is off. 1 year. Next year, he should win the Royal Rumble in my book. I just think there are 2 guys ahead of him right now who have built-in stories as to why they should win the Rumble. But my number 3 option is Big E. Big E, in my opinion, was always the star of the New Day. Kofi, to me, Kofi's amazing. Great wrestler of the last decade. I was going to say legend, and I hesitated, but he's a legend. That WWE title reign and Kofi Mania was legendary. Xavier's great, but Big E was always the star of the New Day. He was a star before, not a star before the New Day, but he was IC champ before the New Day. He was NXT champ before the New Day. And I think he should come out of the New Day as the biggest star. When I say make a new star with the Rumble, as I did earlier in the video, these top 3 are already guys who are in the middle. Shoot them to the top now. I think a guy like Andrade or Montez Ford or some of these guys, you're almost skipping a tier. You're going from here, past here, right to the main event. These guys, my top 3, are just right about to burst through the glass ceiling, and Big E's one of them. If Big E won, I would assume he'd be going after Roman, and that's also part of why I think Big E should be next year, because whoever faces Roman at Mania is not winning. Roman Reigns' title reign should go on well over a year. And maybe there's a short, somebody beats him and he gets it back, but this reign is nowhere near its completion, and I'm not having Big E win the Rumble to lose at Mania. So for those factors, those are the only reasons why Big E would be 3 for me. But hell, I wouldn't even mind turning him heel and sending him a Drew, but then he's back on Raw and he's back with the New Day, so it wouldn't work. But yeah, Big E's number 3 for me, only because I don't know how he fits into this, and I don't want it to end up with him just jobbing out to Roman at Mania. My number 2 choice to win the 2021 Men's Royal Rumble. He's one of my favorite wrestlers today. I think he, in terms of building throughout the year, he makes the most sense momentum-wise. One of my favorites, it's Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has had, what a year. With Mania, he had his big WrestleMania moment with Seth where he jumped off the sign. His feud with Roman, oh my God. He's calling Roman a bitch at every turn, calling him a little bitch and saying he's not a man. Like, it's funny because when Kevin Owens was a heel, a lot of people were like, well, he can never be a babyface. He's the perfect heel. Look at him now, though. He is as much of a Stone Cold baby. The only person who's closer to Stone Cold in terms of what they were as a babyface is CM Punk. But Kevin Owens, when he gets in your face and says, up yours, and when he gets emotional and intense, I'm there with him. He brings you with him emotionally. He can elevate something. The promos him and Paul Heyman were doing on Talking Smack were some of the best performances in WWE in a while. Their promo work, if you haven't watched it, go type in Paul Heyman, Kevin Owens, Talking Smack. They have some of the best promos of both of their last years, it feels like. Incredible stuff. His big match with Roman was phenomenal at TLC. I don't know what's next for him aside from winning the Rumble. To me, he is the guy I want to face Roman at Mania. I would have him come out as champion, but I know WWE won't. But the thing about Owens as well, he can either be your top babyface on SmackDown and go into Mania feuding with Roman, or he can turn heel. Have Roman beat him again and beat the piss out of him. And then Kevin breaks. And he's like, you know what? Maybe being the good guy isn't what's going to get me ahead. When I was an asshole, I was a Universal Champion. I was NXT Champion. I was US Champion. Now I'm a good guy and nothing's working out. So he turns heel, he goes to Raw, and he ravages Drew McIntyre. And he comes out of WrestleMania as a heel champion. I would love that. I would love him going up against Roman as a babyface. I think Kevin Owens is the guy. I think he's incredible. I think he's somebody you can build your company around. I think he's somebody that can main event WrestleMania as a heel or a babyface, as I just said. Him and Roman could close the show at Mania. And him and Drew could close the show at Mania. I firmly believe that. So I believe with momentum and built-in storylines, Kevin Owens is my number 2 option to win the Royal Rumble. And that leaves one more spot, guys. The man I expect, no, I don't expect him to win. The man I would have win if I was booking the show. The man who I would have considered putting the title on this past week, Keith Lee. Keith Lee is a source of a lot of heated debate recently. Because apparently he showed up to the main roster and Vince McMahon in particular didn't think he could go. Didn't think he was athletic enough for a man of his size, or didn't think he was wrestling well enough. If you don't think Keith Lee is good enough, I need to know what your definition of good enough is. Keith Lee can go with anybody in the ring. He can go with anybody. His character work is bar none. It's like they're dumbing down his moveset. He's not doing topes over the top rope. He's not high flying. They're making him strictly a Braun Strowman monster, which I fucking hate. It's the only way Vince knows how to book a monster. The Mark Henry over Randy. Braun. That's the only way he books a monster, and it's so dated. Keith Lee is a monster because he's a goddamn monster. Because he is the shape of Keith Lee doesn't make sense. You should look at him and go, oh, it's a fat guy. And instead, he'll run circles around you and flip over you and just blow your mind with his natural athleticism and his just shocking power. On the mic, I don't know if he's excellent, but he's at least very good. He's not The Rock, but he's good. He's good enough. I think he can carry a show no problem. You know what's interesting? One, I could see him babyface against Roman, because we already had that match teased at Survivor Series a few years back. When I think Roman even said, I want a singles match with you at some point. He definitely said it. I just don't remember if it was on TV or if he was like tweeting it. But, so there's that. Keith and Roman. Just have them go beat the piss out of each other. Or, during that WWE Championship match, there were moments where I thought Keith was looking a little heelish when the commentators were selling the fact that he was reaching this level of intensity. And I almost wanted him to break. I wanted him to get so close to winning the title that either he snapped and got DQ'd, or he snapped after the bell and destroyed Drew. But instead, as soon as he lost, he was pushed out of the ring so a fucking geriatric could come down. Fuck Goldberg! But, yeah, Keith Lee... Keith Lee is my number one. I think he could either turn heel and face Drew, or you could turn Drew heel and face Keith. Anything. Keith Lee is the guy, I think, of anybody. If it's like, okay, we're going to make one guy a star in the next 2 months, who do you want it to be? I think it's Keith Lee. I think between his respect in the industry, what his peers think of him, what the rest of the internet community thinks of him, the guy to win the Rumble and win the title at Mania who will give you the most positive momentum right now would be Keith Lee. And also, there's not enough black world champions in WWE's history. And the World Heavyweight title is clearly their number 2 belt, so don't tell me Mark Henry. Don't tell me all these names, Booker T. The WWE Championship is the prestigious number 1 title in WWE. And Kofi, I believe, was the first black champion ever, because The Rock is Samoan. So it's about time you start, and look at my list. I had Bobby, Big E, and Keith. 3 men who I think, Bobby, Big E, and Keith. Yeah, 3 dudes who would be winning their first major world title. 3 black stars who could really help diversify your programming right now. So yes, let's go over it one more time. The 3 people I don't want to win the Men's Rumble. Edge, Brock, and Goldberg, because fuck Bill Goldberg. The 3 women I don't want to see win the Rumble. Charlotte, Ronda, and Natalya. The 5 women I want to see the Rumble, from least to most. Bayley 5, Becky 4, Naomi 3, Rhea 2, Bianca 1. And for the men, Adam Cole 5, Bobby Lashley 4, Big E 3, Kevin Owens 2, Keith Lee number 1. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Ooh, you know what? Something I didn't cover. Let me give you 3 of each real quick right now who I think will win the Rumble. So, you're most likely the people I think Vince McMahon will book to win the Rumble. Charlotte or Ronda for the women. And then for the men, I think it'll... Oh, wow. So really, the bottom 3 I put are the people WWE will want to win. Edge, Brock, and Goldberg. Charlotte and Ronda, more so than Natalya. And then the 5 are the ones I listed. So yeah, that's how that breaks down. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Tell me down below, who do you want to win the Royal Rumble? Who have I not mentioned in this video, and why should they win the Royal Rumble, or why should they at least be considered? Who would you like to see return as surprises, debuts? Just share your Royal Rumble hump. Well, if you've made it this far, 38 minutes into the video, you just heard me say hump. Royal Rumble hype. Build up that Royal Rumble hype in the comment section below. Thank you guys, and the goose is out. Hey!